Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, welcome. Want to get back into more foodie beauty content. We are back with the retro reacting. This apparently is something in relation to flying, or a big girl flying, or a Canadian big girl flying, something along those lines. Either way, let's get into the video and see what Foodie's going to be talking about, shall we?
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is just going to be me.
Yeah, girl, you might want to get used to that, because even if you are technically married, or married through a loophole, or whatever it is, your husband does not want to be around you all that much. It does kind of make me wonder though, like, what is the relationship dynamic between these two? Is like a lot of times, like, if you pay $200, you get 1 hour with him, but like, is it, do you get discount rates? Like, after 12 hours, the 13th one is free?
And of course some Caesar juice, which is my favorite orange and carrot juice from here. It's so good.
Yeah, I can't really say I've seen too many people shake their head when they drink something they like.
All right, I need a beverage while I'm going to talk, because I'm going to be talking in this video. It's a sit down and talk video. I want to do a series of videos where I'm just talking about things that I know you guys would want to know about, specifically pertaining to this travel journey, because I do see a lot of comments, people wondering, being my size, as big as I am, how did you travel to the Middle East?
Well, if I had to guess, I would assume it would have been the airplane that you filmed yourself flying on, and I would also assume very uncomfortably.
One of the especially to one of the hottest places on the planet, Kuwait. If you've watched my channel, you've been with me for a while, you've seen my past videos, you've seen my life up until now. So especially somebody like me, it's very shocking for someone like me to do something like that. I just want to say that I think this is a lesson that I don't think that people really understand, that what people show you online is just what they show you online. I don't think that people really understand fully everything that's going on inside of me. And you're not meant to. These are things that I keep personal in my life.
Yeah, I feel like most people would know that. Like, you definitely don't paint your life as luxurious by any means. And I honestly feel like that goes for most people, because a lot of people try to show like this luxurious lifestyle, and it's not really like that 24/7. And if it is, I feel like it would get very boring very quickly. Then again, I am an agent of chaos. I do thrive on drama.
And I have shared a lot of things with you guys. Yes, I have been very, very open. I'm going to be open to what I feel comfortable with being open with. So anyway, my point with all that was, I think that people don't really fully know me. They don't really know that I have this sense of burning desire to just sometimes experience life in a way I never thought that I would ever do it.
I'm going to share a secret with you and Amber. If the two of you share your life on the internet and people constantly mix you up or misunderstand you or miscomprehend the situation, it's not their fault, it's your fault. It's your fault for being such a shit narrator.
And that's how I like to live my life, kind of spontaneously, just crazy life. I love it. I love having a crazy life. All right.
I mean, you could say you're spontaneous, but I say you're a train wreck. Like, I feel like I'm closer to the truth in that one.
So this part 1, or episode 1, is going to be talking about my experience with the actual traveling as an obese person, or overweight person. And anything from how I handled the heat, the seats, and just all of the extra activity. Basically, again, if you're kind of new here, or just a reminder, I'm a person who has come from a very sedentary lifestyle. I'm from Canada, and I don't
really understand why you put Canada and sanitary together, as if those two things kind of go together. Like, it doesn't really make that much sense, because you can come from anywhere in the world and be morbidly obese and lazy.
I'm not a person who loves the heat. I'm not a person who loves activity.
Honestly, I'm the same way. Like, I'm a massive bitch when it comes to the heat, and I thought when I lose weight, like, maybe it would be better. It's not. It really isn't. I'm colder now. Like, winter affects me a lot more, but summer is just as shitty.
And all of those things that I have to do here. But I am a person who does love to challenge myself when I feel the time is right. I have done that in my past, and I'll get into that now.
I'm guessing in the past 2 years, you haven't really felt like challenging yourself then.
So just a bit of a history with flying. I know that flying fat is a huge topic For people who are overweight, it's a big anxiety. Traveling when you're overweight, doing anything when you're excessively overweight is extremely difficult for a lot of people, including myself.
I do really hope you're going to take some accountability for this, because I don't want to hear a pity party.
And it makes traveling extra difficult, of course. I first went on an airplane when I was 10, and I was a pretty chubby kid, but I don't really remember the experience other than just my ears being blocked and my mom giving me chewing gum and insisting, chew gum, your ears won't block. Sorry, I talk a lot with my hands, I know. I'm very, very happy, and
here I was thinking Amber was shit with her acting.
I really love this Arabian gold. Just putting that out there. Yes, I'm showing off my ring.
Alright, real question, and I need to throw this out there because now I'm curious. If she had to pay to get into the relationship, did she also have to pay for her own ring?
I was 10, and we were going to Florida to visit my grandfather, who resides in Florida.
Yes, as you would.
And that's all I remember about the flight. I wasn't terribly nervous. Now, fast forward to about 2001, I had traveled around Canada in a program called Katimavik, which was funded by the Canadian government.
Honestly, I'm kind of jealous of that, because in high school, we had to do mandatory volunteering. Like, I was forced to go into a job in year 10 and 11, because if I didn't, you would fail a class, and then you would have to repeat a year. So, mandatory volunteering in itself is not volunteering, because you do it by choice. And I went to the RSPCA. That's kind of how I knew I wanted to go into animal care. And I was doing that after high school, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, I really enjoy doing this. I want to go into animal care, because I was also working retail. And when you have to work in retail and desk jobs where you're answering phones all day, I can assure you, your life just drains from you. Like, my soul was crushed after about 2 to 3 weeks in working each and every one of those jobs. And the only time I was genuinely happy working a job when I was working with animals. So I was like, why not see if I can apply or some sort of certificate or training at the RSPCA so I can work and get a job. And I don't work at the RSPCA, but I do volunteer there still. And that allowed me to go get the job where I currently work, which is a different kind of shelter, but is very similar to the RSPCA, which is awesome in one way, because there wasn't really much of a difference in change when it came to working dynamics, although the shelter itself is much smaller. So like, hell yeah, good for me.
At the time, they would pay for youth to get out of their house and experience Canada, do something different, do some volunteer work. So I would volunteer 40 hours a week, actually, in Katimavik. And I remember purposely pushing myself to do this. No one in my family believed that I would go for 7 months, travel around Canada as a 17-year-old alone. I was homesick at first. I do have some series on that on my channel and some videos, but that was the second time I had to use an airplane a couple of times, and it was a small plane. I remember that. I was 200 pounds, I think approximately 200 pounds at the time. Now, I don't remember feeling much anxiety about flying or about the seatbelt or anything like that. 200 pounds is still not terribly super obese to the point where you won't fit on a plane or you fear that you won't fit in public transportation. And actually, that brings me to my point where you don't actually worry about fitting anywhere until it actually happens, that dreadful, embarrassing moment.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. It depends on the person. For me, like, it was a constant anxiety, but I've never been in a position where I've never fit in something. Like, it's always been more so clothes and stuff like that. Like, that's been the hardest thing for me to find and be able to kind of wear, because most things would only go up to a 3XL, and my big ass was in a 5XL, which, funny enough, I can fit into a large or an extra large depending now. So I still have kind of that mindset where it's like, oh, nothing fits me. And I'm like, dude, you're full. You're 4 sizes down, so everything fits now.
My weight increased over the years. And it got to the weight that it was, which was very excessive, especially for health and everything else like that.
I mean, being 17 and 200 pounds is not really good either, and you're not a very tall person. You're quite short, actually. Isn't she like about 5 feet or something like that, she said?
You guys know I'm a person who's all about body positivity, loving who you are regardless of your shape, size, whatever.
Right. Care to explain this then?
It's not even about being ugly, it's just that mean, like, trashy middle-aged woman look she has going on. That's her. No, I don't have a middle-aged woman look, actually.
Or would you care to explain the other hundreds of videos we can use as evidence?
But when it comes to damaging your health, that's a bit of a different issue for me. But regardless, I do still think that people, while they're dealing with their health issues, have a right to be comfortable and happy traveling and living life.
True, that's kind of fair to say, but at the same time, what about people like yourself who have issues, refuse to deal with them, and then expect other people to deal with them for them?
And not feeling like a complete outcast. But,
I'm not going to pretend like fat phobia doesn't exist, because there are some genuinely kind people who happen to be overweight or morbidly obese, and people treat them like shit simply because they are overweight. That being said, a lot of people within the fat acceptance community, or people like Foodie and Amber, are just terrible people, or people who expect other people to absorb the responsibility of them being overweight. Like, no, we should not have to take on the burden of your responsibility and fixing your issues for you. That's your issue to deal with, not ours.
I did travel to Cuba. That was the first trip in April where I was feeling some anxiety. Okay, I'm going to say I was as terrified as I've probably been thinking about a flight. I was, in preparation, I would obsessively just look for seats that, maybe a window seat, maybe at the back, no one will sit beside me. I was hoping, am I going to have to buy 2 seats? Just all these anxieties were flooding in my brain. People were, you need 2 seats, you need 2 seats. Don't put yourself on someone else. Don't take up space. Don't take up space. No, I'm going to tell you, never be afraid to take up space. Take up space, all right?
You have a right to take up the space that you pay for, so if you're spilling over into someone else's seat, then that is a problem, and you believing that you're entitled to that simply because you are overweight, well, that is a bigger problem because you're not entitled to that space. They are entitled to be just as comfortable as you are.
Enough. However, when I got on the plane for Cuba, the Sunwing plane, I did do a video on that, but that was my first experience. I think that broke the ice for me, and I kind of expected all economy seats to be kind of similar standard size. Now, I'm an apple shape, so from the side I'm more larger than wide like this. I don't have very wide hips, so I carry most of my weight in my abdomen.
Which is kind of funny to think about because Foodie carries it in the front and Amber carries it in the back.
Therefore, I was able to fit in the seat all right. It was a little snug, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't digging in. However, I did need a seatbelt extender because the seatbelt was coming like this. I needed that extra space. So I had the seatbelt extender, and they were very nice. I just asked the flight attendant. Now, those are things that if you are embarrassed to do, because people did look at me. Literally, the plane was already filling up, and the stewardess was kind of busy a little bit, and I had to just kind of say, hey, can I have a seatbelt extender? And everyone watched me ask her, everyone. So, and that to me, honestly, I guess I'm just lucky. I just don't place. I've learned over the years, I guess it's taken a bit of mental work, but I've just always just never really cared too much about what people think about me in public.
She does often say that, she's able to take a joke, she's able to make herself the butt of a joke, and she's able to kind of just enjoy herself, making fun of herself, and kind of acting like a fool in public and online. But at the same time, it's kind of weird, because any slight bit of criticism, and it sets her off. She'll go full rage mode over people saying just the most bare essential criticism. I remember someone asking her, hey, you're Muslim, right? So how many times a day do you pray? And do you also find it difficult because you're morbidly obese? And she lost her shit. She was like, you need to mind your effing business and go F yourself. And, you're X, Y, and Z and it has nothing to do with you. My religion doesn't concern anyone. I'm blocking you. How dare you ask me that question? And it's dude, it's not even criticism. It's a genuine question from what I saw.
You guys know that. So luckily for me, I was hey, I'm the kind of person, let's just put it this way. I'm the kind of person that's no matter who I am, what size I am, what I look like, it's I will go anywhere in the world and be hey, here I am. This is how I am. I'm not going to apologize for it.
I can agree to a certain extent. Like, it depends on how out there you are. And if you're someone who is able to have a good time, but also have humility and respect for other people, like, no problem whatsoever. Like, have a good time, enjoy yourself, be authentically you. If you're someone who is just obnoxious as hell and you don't respect other people's boundaries or customs, then do everyone a favor and just stay away from society. Just stay home and mind your own business. Live an unfulfilling life because we don't want you out of society and disrespecting other people.
So that's how I dealt with the Sunwing situation. Now for this trip, specifically I flew with Qatar Airlines. I heard that it was a bit more comfortable. Maybe the seats were a bit larger. So I just figure, you know what, I'll just ask for a seatbelt extender. It's a longer flight, but I thought, hey, I can do this. So I just have that attitude. I can do this. You can do this. You're going to do this. And I just do it. I don't know. I just do it. And maybe a part of it is just I'm kind of a bit of an adrenaline junkie a little bit.
I mean, true, like you're one of many types of junkies.
Where in a sense where I like to push myself, and I find that even more now. I'm loving pushing myself even more. So what I have to say about the trip, when I got to the Montreal airport, the walking wasn't too bad. It wasn't too far. I had to walk to the check-in with Qatar Airlines in the Montreal airport. Now, leaving Canada was where all of the I need to walk everywhere happens, and things just get more harder and hotter as I travel. So I got on the plane and my seat was like way at the back, and I heard someone say, in the stewardess say, like, we have a full plane. So I kind of like looked at the seat beside me and I thought, oh no, 12 hours with somebody that I don't know and like maybe a strange person. I don't know.
I hate to break to you, mate, but you are the strange person. Like, you're not trapped on the airplane with them, they're trapped on the airplane with you.
So, but I knew it was a possibility. So, but I had a window seat. That was the best thing for me because I love looking out the window. And of course, right at the back near the lavatory because I want to avoid just having to walk down long aisles through people. Maybe that is a little bit of an insecurity. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh no, 100%. Like, that would definitely be a massive insecurity for her.
The lavatory, you're all wondering about the lavatory in the planes.
Yeah, speaking for myself and the majority, if not all of my audience, we don't want to know about that. Maybe your husband, like, you can talk to him about it if you want.
Actually, it's actually big enough. Like, the door, I thought the door was only this big, but there's two doors like that and they fold in half. So you take the
Foodie, you can't say that. You cannot say fat phobia and then follow it up with another conversation about the bathroom and saying that you were able to fit because of two doors.
The door and you just open it and it folds open and then you close it behind you. And actually the lavatories in the Qatar Airlines bathrooms are actually really nice. They have like eau de toilette and everything.
All right, another question, Foodie. Is that for us or was that for Salah? Now, it's definitely for us because like Salah would definitely want her to use the bathroom, then take a photo.
They had like everything and there was enough room. It was a little snug, but I actually had enough room to like stand up and move around and wash my hands and everything. So I was like, yes, okay. So that was good. I did actually get to check out the bathroom because that, honestly, airplane bathrooms, this is again just one thing. If you're a bigger person, you'll understand. Airplane bathrooms are so tiny that, yeah, it like freaked me out. I was like, oh my god, what if I get stuck? Or I don't know. It's just like all these irrational thoughts.
I mean, honestly, I would say that's an irrational thought, but no, that would be a legitimate thing that Foodie and Amber would have to worry about. Like, can you imagine getting stuck in a public bathroom and on an airplane of all things? Dude, like that, there is no way in order for you to not come back from that because like you're on an airplane, right? You get stuck, you have to get people to get you out, and then on top of that, you have to sit on an airplane flight with a bunch of people that just watch you get your ass pulled out of a goddamn toilet. Like, I would step out of the plane at that point. I would straight up just let myself out.
Just poured into my brain, so... But because I was at the back near the lavatory, I actually got to talk to a lot of nice people because I actually made friends with a nice Iranian woman and she was waiting to use the bathroom. There was like a queue. People would queue near my seat and I would just talk to people. So, yay.
She sounds almost like the inquisitive child that asks you a billion questions while you're standing in line.
Bathroom beezing.
I wonder if that's what Salah calls it whenever he finds a new partner to cheat on Foodie with.
So once I had my seatbelt extender in, and once I heard I was waiting nervously, looking like, okay, look, the suspense. Is somebody gonna come and sit in my seat? You know, everyone's moving down the aisles, and sure enough, finally the pilot was like, all passengers on board, and nobody was sitting beside me. So I actually didn't purchase 2 seats. I never purchased 2 seats. I'm okay with the seatbelt extender. And I actually had this seat to myself because it wasn't a full plane. So I was actually really lucky. I got to put my leg up and just rest.
Can't really say I'm surprised that Foodie's the type of person to hope and pray that someone doesn't sit in the seat, so that way they can also take it up. But if someone does, well, then it doesn't really matter because she's entitled to that space because she's bigger.
And I actually, one thing being bigger, and especially in the abdomen area, I find is a problem on airplanes for me is the table tray. I'm not able to actually fully fold down the tray in front of me. It hits my stomach a little bit.
Planes themselves are very cramped, but like with Foodie, it would be so much harder, and I can imagine her barely being able to get like the tray down.
So what I did was I actually just used the tray from the empty chair and just used that as my mealtime tray, which was fine. And the little toiletries kit they give you on the plane, I remember in my first vlog there was a little pouch with a whole bunch of things in it, and I didn't really know at the time what it was. So they give you like a toothbrush, toothpaste, they give you a pair of socks, they give you a blanket, which is in like a plastic wrapping, so a brand new blanket. I actually kept it as a souvenir, why not? And I kept the socks. They give you some headphones, they give you a mask and some earplugs. So because there was a screaming child on board the whole time.
Look, I do not hate children. Actually, I do. That's a lie. That's a flat out lie. I absolutely hate them. But I mean, I don't despise them. Like, I understand that children are going to cry. They're going to scream. They're going to act out. They can't regulate their emotions, and they're children. It's completely understandable. But I come from a very, very large family, and we have the mindset of the older ones raise the younger ones. And I hate looking after children, and I hate people not, taking care of their children in public, especially when that child is acting out.
So I actually, the earplugs, once I put the mask on, I just, like I showed you in my video, I actually did doze off even without my CPAP. That's a problem because I do use a CPAP machine that I couldn't plug that in, but I didn't really need it. I was able to just doze in and off, and I knew that once I got to my destination I would be able to sleep. I was tired though, arriving at the Hamad International Airport. You have to look this airport up if you don't believe me. So I walked around the airport for a long time until I finally found somebody, like it was a connecting flight, until I finally found somebody who scanned my ticket and looked up which gate I needed to go to. And they were like, you need to go to gate I think C39 or something like that. Anyway, so then I was like, where is that? Is it far? And she's like, oh yes, miss, it's too far. You're going to need a train. So you need to go stand. There's a little location where you stand. If your gate is really far off, you need to take this train.
I'm pretty sure we saw in the video she took a cart, so I don't know why she keeps saying train. I think she meant like tram, but even a tram is not a cart.
So, or this little cart. So this guy picked us all up and was bringing us to the gate, and the whole way he was like, excuse me. That's why I kept putting it in my video, because the whole way, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, almost running people over and just speeding across the airport. Hugest airport I've ever seen in my life. It's huge. I think it was rated the #1 airport in the world right now, but it is, I underestimated how large it is. It's bad. So I was actually very thankful for that, because I was actually really tired and it would have been a heck of a hike with my luggage.
I wouldn't be surprised in that moment if Foodie was like, screw that, I'm going back to Canada.
So I just, they dropped me off at my gate, and then I had to wait for a bit and took the connecting flight into Kuwait. So when I got off the plane in Kuwait, I had to, it was so hot. It was so hot. Even just being in the air-conditioned airport, I could feel like myself starting to sweat a bit. And then I had to walk around. I was really tired. I was getting really tired at this point, and I was kind of crabby and not hungry, because we were well fed on the planes. With snacks, even on the connecting flight, even just an hour, they gave us a snack and some juice, so I was okay there.
I understand what she's saying is like it's a very trivial thing that most adults wouldn't even look at, but like the way she says it and the way she acts, it sounds almost like a toddler. Like, oh yeah, they gave us juice and a snack, so I was good.
But oh my gosh, when I got to Kuwait, I just wanted to get in the car, air conditioning, and you know, get to my destination. And I just, it was so hot. Like just just the few seconds I was outside, it was so hot. It hasn't been super hot since then. It's been in the 20s, so it's not too bad. But that one day I arrived, yeah, it was really hot.
Honestly saying, because like we were having weather that was in the 30s and now we're going down to 21, 22, and it is so just genuinely nice. Like it's not too hot, not too cold, and we don't have to worry about it like any rainstorms just yet, but it is getting a little bit of a breeze, so I am worried that it may be rolling in soon, like maybe over the next couple of days, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad.
I was sweating buckets of sweat. I was sweating a lot. It's a complete new environment for me and everything like that. So I just wanted to share a little bit with you about my experience traveling here. I know a lot of you have questions, and I hope I answered some of them for you. So in closing, I guess I can say, yeah, it was hot and hard to do. It was hard to do to travel being so overweight, but it was worth it, and I challenged myself to do it, and I feel better having come out the other side. And furthermore, I really, really appreciate you guys coming along on this journey with me. So I thank you for watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Alright guys, getting to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Holy crap, it is 27 minutes. That is, I was not expecting that. I mean, it's fine. Amber's video is going to be a little bit shorter because I believe it's only about 7 minutes. And then after that, I want to save the Beck video for the weekend, which thankfully, I think it's about 30 minutes too, so it's going to be a little bit longer ones. That's kind of the reason why I'm saving it for the weekend. And at least it'll be a couple days old, so Beck will get the majority of the views by then anyway. So I don't think they or anyone else is going to really mind me doing the whole video like I did last time. But again, thank you for watching, and hopefully get to see lovely people in Amber's video. Bye-bye.